Hello, all you high-level changeling infiltrators out there, and welcome to Undeclared Bajor.
I want to be a high-level changeling infiltrator. Sounds like a good job.
Instead of being like a low-level me.
Human. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. My name is Fletcher, about to say hello is Data.
What up?
Today we're going to discuss and review Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Season 4, Episode 26, Broken Link. Alternate title, Goo Gone.
Yeah, no, that works.
I could have used some Goo Gone at work today.
Oh, really? Stuff getting gooey?
There was crap all over my mouse.
Why'd you get crap all over your mouse?
I don't know. I just the way the stuff at work is. It just gets nasty crap all over it. So I washed my mouse with some water and paper towels from the bathroom, and it was very satisfying. Now my mouse is very clean.
Nice.
Still not as clean as my mouse at home, which I never have to clean. And it's just naturally clean, but
I mean, I have to clean the bottom of my mouse at home.
Yeah, I mean, that was the main part that I was cleaning, was the bottom.
Yeah, it's like, I have cats, so,
Oh, sure.
Every once in a while, the mouse starts acting weird, and I pick it up, and there's, got some cat fur, across the little sensor.
Oh, yeah, that'll mess you up for sure. I hate it when, a little piece of hair gets in there, and then you're... Yep. Anyway, as always, you can expect full spoilers up through this episode being discussed, and a possible small number of minor spoilers for later in the series, kept to an appropriate minimum. Everything else, spoilers, are on the table.
As always. Not only on the table, they will come.
Right.
Everything will be spoiled.
Everything will be spoiled. Broken Link originally aired on June 17th, 1996. It was written by Robert Hewitt Wolfe and Ira Stephen Bear.
Oh my gosh.
A little switcheroo.
Yeah.
Don't usually see them credited in that order. Story by George A. Brozak.
Good old bro.
So that sounds like a nickname I'd call somebody.
Oh, Brozak? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
How's it going, Brozak?
Have we ever seen Brozak before? We're going to find out.
I don't think so.
Now, let's see. Wrote the stories for Star Trek Deep Space Nine episode Broken Link and the Star Trek Voyager 3rd season episode False Prophets. Storyline contributors to the 6th season Next Generation episode Birthright Part 1.
Huh.
These were his only known television or film credits.
Storyline contributor.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. Also, one of the researchers for the Star Trek Encyclopedia.
Huh.
He held the position of Director of Athletic Bands at the University of South Carolina until 2008.
Oh, wow.
During this time, he completely revolutionized the band's performance standards. All right.
Huh. So, at first they were crappy, and then he came in.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm done contributing storylines. I need to fix your band.
He facilitated or spearheaded the upgrade of the marching band's facility and their music library, and frequently yelled out, "Letter B." I don't know what that means.
Maybe it's a University of South Carolina thing or something. I don't know.
Dr. Brozak is currently the Director of Athletic Bands at the Southern Illinois University Carbondale.
So are we sure this is the same Dr. Brozak?
This is, in fact, his Memory Alpha article.
Okay.
So, I mean, they seem sure at least.
All right. And the episode was directed by Les Landau, apparently, because for the life of me, I could not find a director credit in the episode. But all the sources say that Les Landau did it, so... I watched the first 10 minutes 5 times in a row, trying to see the director credit. But
somebody was mad at old Les.
Yeah. I was like, is he Alan Smithying this or something? But it's like IMDb shows him as the director, so I don't know.
These things happen. What can you do?
Yep. Anyway, so in this episode, Odo shows up to Garrick's shop, apparently summoned by Garrick. And he's like, hey, what's up? And then Garrick glances around furtively, and Odo asks, is there a shoplifter? Which is logical.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Odo is the... I mean, it would be weird if a shoplifter, like, was shoplifting so slowly that Garrick had time to call Odo and Odo could show up before he left, but...
That'd be funny, though, if just, like, Garrick was just watching this, he was like, oh, man, Odo, get over here. But no, a Bajoran lady comes out of the changing room, showing off her new snazzy Garrick-tailored outfit. And then Garrick quotes, "A thing of beauty is a joy forever," which is a line from Keats,
who we found out was alien-inspired.
Yep, yeah. As we now know, wrote under the influence of a psychic vampire from outer space.
Yep. It all comes together in
right.
Deep Space Nine.
The way they're building it up, we have to go back in time and meet Keats at some point, right?
And she'll be there.
Oh yeah, I gotta put that on my list, on the list of episodes. Go back in time and meet Keats.
That's okay. Right. Another episode idea.
Okay. But Odo is obviously enchanted by the woman, who introduces herself as the owner of the new Bajoran restaurant overlooking the promenade.
Don't they just call it food here? Not Bajoran food?
That's a good question. I was kind of thinking the same thing. I was like, are there multiple Bajoran restaurants, or I don't know.
Everyone's quarters is a Bajoran restaurant when you're in Bajoran space.
But she also seems very interested and invites Odo to come by the restaurant after hours sometime.
You know, the time that's normal for people to come by your restaurant.
Yeah. Then she leaves and Garrick chides Odo about not asking her out, and then Odo launches into his "Oh, you humanoids" routine.
Yep, those crazy solids.
Oh, and also he established, he reminded us that he doesn't eat, which is paid off later also. So
yep, no eating. Maybe he will visit that restaurant now that he needs to eat. But
well, I assume he will.
But apparently this lady was originally intended to be like a recurring character.
Huh.
And so they were like, we're going to use this lady as like a love interest for Odo after he gets turned into a solid.
Okay.
But eventually it was decided that like they weren't a good fit or something. So Shalon Oroya, originally intended to be a recurring character, after watching the episode, the producers just felt she wasn't right for Odo, and so they abandoned the concept.
They're like, Odo can do better.
But amusingly enough, one of the people who came in to audition for that role was the lady who had played Grilka, Mary Kay Adams. And so she's like, hey, can I play this Bajoran?
Was that one of the Cardassian ladies?
No, Grilka was the Klingon that Quark married.
Oh, okay.
And so, yeah, she comes in and she's like, I'm going to audition for this. And she's quoted, "I'm a huge fan of Renee Auberjonois, so I was really excited. I'd gone in for the producers to read for this Bajoran character. But then I saw a bunch of the guys that I'd known the first time I was on the show, and they were all wonderful. And they were like, oh, actually, we were thinking about bringing Grilka back. So I guess because this was supposed to be a returning character and they might bring Grilka back, they're like, okay, well, we can't have her also being like this person who might be showing up at the same time.
The things that might have been. But anyway, Odo's typical rant about humanoid love or whatever is interrupted when he starts spasming and like sporadically turning into goo on parts of his body and stuff.
Yeah, that always interrupts me when I'm doing stuff.
Yeah. Then he collapses on the ground. And Garrick uses Odo's comm badge to call Dr. Bashir. Then Dr. Bashir examines Odo and says that his both mass and density are in a state of constant fluctuation. So somehow he is gaining and losing mass, contrary to the laws of physics.
Well, yeah. No, okay, no, that's fair. I was gonna say if your mass was changing, your density would also have to change, but that doesn't. Yeah, that doesn't like
unless your volume was also changing.
Okay, yeah. If you're staying the same size, then yeah. But yeah, that doesn't change the fact that does seem to go against the laws.
That's true. I mean, Odo's not getting bigger and smaller, so if his density is changing, I guess his mass is fluctuating inside him or something. I don't know.
Something's happening, that's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, this could explain how he's able to turn into like a little mouse And also, like, a big giant wall.
That's true. So it's just, he's magic is okay.
But yeah, Bashir doesn't know what's going on. Could be some natural changeling thing, or could be a horrible disease.
I feel like he's like, might be puberty, might be menopause. And Odo's like, don't, keep that to yourself, that comment, okay?
Yeah. In the wardroom, the senior staff of Deep Space Nine gather around the TV to watch a 1 hour, 41-minute speech by Chancellor Gowron, complete with beeps every single second. And I did watch, and like, when they cut away and they cut back, the number of beeps did not line up with how much time passed in the speech.
What?
I'm on to you, Deep Space Nine.
Outrageous.
Why even put a timestamp on the speech, though? I was like, is this going to somehow like be paid off later or something? But no. So Gowron says he refuses to give back seized Cardassian territory, and also everybody stay out of Arcanus. That's Klingon territory. So the Federation and the Klingons seem to be on the brink of war. Then Kira has a fit of pregnancy sneezing, leading to a bet, which Captain Sisko wins.
I mean, she seems okay with it, so I guess fine. But I'm just like, it's really insensitive to be placing bets on somebody's like physical thing that they can't stop doing because of their pregnancy. I feel like people would get upset about that.
I don't know. The Bajorans are probably, they're used to it, so.
Maybe they learned that from Bajorans. Maybe like that's just a thing that Bajorans do because they got to do something.
That's just a fun thing to do with pregnant ladies. So.
Yeah.
But they discuss the Odo situation and then get into an argument about whether Odo likes to socialize or not.
The answer is no.
Yeah.
Like, Worf is correct here.
Yeah. Then Kira pays Odo a visit and delivers the criminal activity report, which does cheer him up.
As it would, yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, show me that criminal activity.
Except, then it turns out to be a bad idea.
Yeah. He sees something that's suspicious in the report, and he goes down to a cargo bay where that purple-haired femme fatale lady who found Lee Nallis's earring is supervising a transfer of cargo.
Yeah, she finally gets a name in this episode. So.
Oh, does she?
Yeah.
I missed it.
Oh, I'm sorry. She's named in the script, but not on screen.
Okay. But Odo tries to brace her about a matter involving some stolen Phalangian diamonds or something. But he becomes less intimidating when he suffers another sudden fit and this time just melts into a puddle. And what's her name?
Let's see. It says Rionoi. So Rionoi.
Rionoi.
Yeah, and this is her third appearance, and she's still not named on screen.
So purple. Well, I'm just gonna call her Purple Hair Lady. So Purple Hair Lady's like, oh, let's just get out of here. That guy turned into a puddle.
That's the way to go, honestly.
So that was a freebie. That's a Arrested Development reference.
I believe you.
Back in the infirmary, Bashir says, it's getting pretty bad. Your mass is just all over the place.
And your density. Don't forget the density.
Bashir floats taking Odo to Starfleet Medical or consulting Dr. Mora or something, but Odo is like, no, let's just cut to the chase and go talk to the Founders. They probably know what's going on.
I mean, yeah.
So Sisko comes up with a plan to take the Defiant to the Gamma Quadrant and basically just broadcast, hey, has anyone seen the Founders? We got Odo here.
I mean, it works, so you can't fault it that much.
Kira is too sneezy to come or something. But as they are about to embark, Garrick shows up.
He is not too sneezy.
They're just like, come on. Garrick explains to Sisko that he wants to ask the Founders what happened to the Cardassians from that disastrous attempted attack on the Founder homeworld. So, where's Anabrantane at?
Yeah, I do like that Sisko's like, well, I thought everybody died. And it's like, well, how would you even know? Did the Dominion tell you that? Or were you, as you were retreating, you were just like, yeah, they're probably all dead.
Yeah. It's like, I assumed they all died because I don't really care that much.
It's like, I didn't stop to help them, so.
Yep. But Sisko's like, okay, whatever, you can come, but you have to keep Odo preoccupied. And Garrick is like, oh yeah, I can do that. I'll turn the Garrick up to 11.
Yeah, he does an excellent job of Garricking this.
Right. Then Kira and Bashir lead a barely solid Odo out of the infirmary, and they are met by Quark, who gives Odo his best wishes under the pretense of taunting him about all the crime he's going to commit.
Gonna commit so much crime, you won't even believe it.
It's like, you better come back, to stop me from committing crime.
This station's just gonna be gone.
Yeah. It's like, there's gonna be no
That's
station. It's gonna be, like, sold to Cousin Gala or something.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, man, I want that moon. I'll trade you.
Yeah. Check out the station, huh?
I mean, it's right at the wormhole. It's pretty lucrative.
Yeah. Then the ailing Odo walks painfully down the promenade while people stand around and gawk. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, look at that.
It really does get a lot of attention. I understood him, like, it's like, do you want us to clear the promenade? And he's like, well, no, that would just make this even more awkward. But one of his buddies could have been like, clear off, what are you all staring at?
Yes. It's like some of those people are like Starfleet officers, but they're just like, that's horrible. It's like, are you even, like, why are you behaving like this?
I've never seen anything so horrifying.
That guy's gonna die for sure.
I say that about people I see on the street all the time.
Right. But soon the mission is underway. We have a little scene where everybody comments about feeling naked without a cloak, and Dax jokes about being around so many naked men. Just like, why you gotta make it weird, Dax?
They made it weird.
That's true. Sisko was like, I'm feeling that breeze too.
Yeah, exactly. That's when it got weird, honestly.
On my down there, if you know what I mean. In the sickbay, Garrick is having lots of success keeping Odo preoccupied with his innuendo-laced stories. It's like, I just was a gardener, gardening poisoned plants. Oh, did that guy get poisoned?
Who knew?
A coincidence.
So many people died during my time on Romulus.
Yep. On the bridge, Chief O'Brien's paranoid story about Kira and Keiko conspiring against him or something is interrupted when a bunch of Jem'Hadar ships show up. And then a bunch of Jem'Hadar just beam right onto the bridge with the female changeling.
Well, no, they open hailing frequencies first. They're like, hey, we want to come over and talk to you. And then when Sisko's like, yeah, I guess they can come over. I'll go meet him in the transporter room. And I don't even feel like they had time to send that message. Like, he's like, yeah, tell them I'll meet them in the transporter room. And as he's finishing that sentence, they all show up like they could hear him.
Right. So I think they were just like, okay, there they are. Let's just beam over there. So, they're saying come on over. It's like, okay, great. We're on our way. So anyway, yeah. There's a bunch of Jem'Hadar. Female changeling is with them. And she's just like, okay, give us Odo. And Sisko's like, no, we're going to come too. And female changeling is like, okay, but you have to let this Jem'Hadar guy fly the ship so you don't find out the secret location of our new homeworld.
Also, no one look outside.
Right. And then Worf experiences a brief next-gen flashback when his very reasonable objections are just waved aside and dismissed.
Yep.
It's like, whoa, what? What, he's putting a thing on the computer? And it's like, just calm down, Mr. Worf. Then Changeling Lady goes to the sickbay and has a little linky link with Odo, which makes him better, but just barely. Garrick starts to introduce himself, but it's not the right time.
Nope.
So female Changeling sends everybody out so she can have a private chat with Odo and reveal that she's all up to date on all the Deep Space Nine gossip. She's like, yeah, that Kira, he's seeing Shakar, right? You know when Shakar's going to be single again?
I missed this note before that the scene where he's walking and everyone's staring at him.
Uh-huh.
Renee is quoted in here saying that he was going for like Alec Guinness in Bridge on the River Kwai.
Okay.
Which I've never seen.
Right.
So.
Spoilers, maybe?
Alec Guinness walks in that movie. Yeah. So
Alec Guinness does not sit down the entire movie. Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
And then, basically Odo quickly deduces that it was the Founders that made him sick, and female Changeling confirms it. So you see, they made him sick, so he would have to come back to the Great Link to be judged.
Yeah, and that was, I mentioned in a previous episode that like something happens in a scene that would come up later, and this is it. It was Weyoun like pats Odo on the shoulder in that one scene where they have to work with the Dominion, And apparently that was him infecting Odo with this virus.
Wow. So, do they just always have all the Vorta ready to infect
Excellent
Odo
question. Yeah, I don't
whenever
know.
they see him or something?
And so, slight spoiler for the future. So skip 10 seconds ahead. There is a period during the season where Odo is infected with 2 secret viruses.
Nice. So he's going to be judged because he killed that changeling guy at the end of last season. He threw him on the super hot warp core or something, and that made him melt.
Yeah. How they even know about that, I don't know, but...
Well, I mean, I assume they deduced it at some point when that guy never called.
Well, yeah, but how do you deduce that Odo specifically killed him?
That's true. Maybe it's just kind of common knowledge or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I assume that it's in the report,
yeah.
And one of their many changeling infiltrators can access the report or something.
Yeah. I mean, Wayon seemed to know all about it too, so...
Yeah, he did.
But yeah, so if he doesn't come, he's gonna keep getting sicker, then die. Then Garrick finally gets his moment and asks the female changeling, hey, what happened to Tane and all those other Cardassians? And she's like, oh, they're all dead. Just like you and all of Cardassia is going to be soon. You sealed your fate when you attacked us. And Garrick is like, wait, didn't you orchestrate that whole thing? But whatever, it was nice talking to you. Then Sisko, Worf, and O'Brien try to brainstorm ideas for tracking Odo in the Great Link, like put nucleides or something in him or something.
As you do, yeah.
Yeah. They're like, no, it's not going to work. And then Odo comes in and he says, don't bother. He wants to be judged because it would be hypocritical for an outstanding lawman like him to not accept his own justice. So, okay. If you insist.
Yeah, if you say so, dude.
As they get close to the new founder planet, female changeling is like, okay, so I'm going to take Odo and beam down to the planet. And Sisko's like, okay, but me and Dr. Bashir are going to come too. And then the changeling lady is like, all right, fine, but it may be a few days. And then Sisko's like, we'll wait. And then the changeling lady's like, all right, but what I'm saying is there's no bathrooms down there. So, like...
You are not allowed to pee into the link.
Right. But they all beam down. Odo and the female changeling go into the link. Sisko and Dr. Bashir wait around on a little tiny rock in the middle of a horizon-to-horizon ocean of living goo.
Yeah, it's unclear for how long.
Right.
And also unclear to me if this rock is also made of changelings.
Oh yeah, it's like, can you make something solid so that these people can stand on it?
But then those guys who had to turn into rocks for a while wouldn't have gotten to participate in the Great Link thing, so they would have had to, like, make proxy votes or something. I don't know.
They did early voting.
Yeah.
Maybe those are the guys who have all the worst secrets or something. I don't know.
Could be, yeah.
Bashir gets ready to pass the time by skipping some stones on the goo, but Sisko's like, dude, no, stop.
Yeah. It's like, have some sort of sensibility and diplomacy, dude.
Bashir's like, oh, I bet they really didn't like it when I peed in there. But back on the Defiant, Worf catches Garrick in a little computer room or something doing some hacking, which, as you know, just means like moving little chips around.
Yep, that's how you hack.
So Garrick pitches Worf on his plan of using the arsenal of, as we've learned before, 100 megaton each quantum torpedoes to just blow up the founder planet and save the entire Alpha Quadrant from the Dominion once and for all.
Yep.
But Worf is like, no, that's not my style. So Garrick tries to beat him up with some kind of like Cardassian Krav Maga or something. But it's Worf beats him.
He's like, hey, you got pretty good moves for a tailor, dude.
Yeah. It's like, I'm starting to suspect you might not just be a tailor. It's like, Worf wasn't here for the first 3 seasons. It's like playing catch up. Down on the planet, something catches Sisko's attention, and he's like, hey, look at that. And then Bashir looks, but it just looks like the same ocean of goo that it was before. But then a naked Odo appears, flailing around in the goo, and washes up on their rock.
Yep.
And then Bashir does a quick scan and finds that Odo is human. So that's right, he's a Homo sapiens.
I mean, yeah, like like he's not Bajoran, he's not humanoid, he is specifically human.
Yep, like the ones from planet Earth. Female changeling shows up just long enough to announce that Odo's punishment is that he has to be solid now. Yep. And then they beam him away. But he keeps his Odo face as a reminder.
Yeah.
He was once a changeling or something.
Got to make sure he know.
Yep. I mean, I would think that having a completely different human face would be like even worse. Like that would remind me every day that I'd lost what I had. Because just looking at my like a changeling face, I might even forget for a second that I was a human. But
interesting point. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if they thought this punishment out very well. Then the Defiant returns to Deep Space Nine, where Garrick tailors Odo a new real uniform that's made out of wool, not just made out of him. He envies Odo on all the foods he will get to try for the very first time. When that's over, Odo's like, all right, thank you for the uniform. Now I'm going to take you to jail.
Yeah, you were allowed not to go to jail just long enough for this uniform thing, because I can't be naked and do my job.
Mm. Then that Bajoran lady shows up and is like, hey, whenever you're ready, let's take that new human body out for a spin. And he's like, ooh. Then Sisko comes by and tells Odo he can take some time off, but Odo says ruefully that now he is exiled from his people and his job is all he has left. Also, I'm the only competent law enforcement officer here that isn't possibly a secret Maquis spy.
Yeah, after that, it's like, maybe we don't trust people.
But then they get distracted when a crowd gathers around a TV to watch Gowron making another speech, where he announces, we're taking Arcanus, people. Everybody get out of our way. Odo is shocked. He says, oh my gosh, when I was in the link, the founders were trying to let me not see that they were thinking about that guy. Gowron is a changeling.
What?
And then Sisko's like, wait, you saw that guy in the link? You didn't recognize him as Gowron?
Yeah.
The Klingon Chancellor? The end.
Oh, okay, sorry. There's a note in here that clarifies some things.
Okay.
Or actually unclarifies some things. Because the episode was To the Death, where Weyoun supposedly infects Odo. That's in the script. That he claps Odo on the shoulder and infects him with this disease.
Okay.
However, the scene was not filmed that way. At that point in the conversation, when the scene was filmed, it's a tight shot on just Weyoun's face. So you don't see him reach out and touch Odo.
Okay, so during, I remember that sequence of just like ever like increasing close-ups on both of their faces. So while that was happening, he like reached over and touched Odo.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the exact moment where it happens.
After Odo turns down the offer to go back with him, he like claps him on the shoulder. He's like, okay, man, But not knowing what is in the script, for people watching, it's like, how did they give Odo this virus? The only time he made physical contact with a member of the Dominion was like when he shook latent changeling's hand back in Homefront.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, first of all, do they ever even bring up in the show that it was Weyoun who gave him this thing?
No, I don't think so.
So, like, I mean, for all we know, it could have been Leighton that...
Yeah, but that was before he killed the changeling, though.
Was that last season?
Oh, hold on. Hold on. You're right, because that was the season finale of... Oh, okay, hold on. Homefront.
Yeah, the Homefront was this season, right?
Oh, okay. Homefront is the 11th episode of season 4. So no, you're right.
Okay. So, I mean, so it doesn't really matter because they never bring it up in the show. So, I mean, they could have had any of their Dominion spies they apparently have around just like sneeze on him or something.
That's a fair point. This is the only season finale of Deep Space Nine that Sherlock Lofton does not appear in.
Oh.
So
Sarah Clofton does not appear in this episode.
Yep. We talked about before how they wanted to like make Gowron a changeling in that To the Death episode, but they didn't do that. So they're like, oh, we're going to reuse this idea and put it into this later episode. So that's part of what's happening here. This is also this season finale, other than being unique because it doesn't have Jake in it. It's unique in that this is the only Star Trek season finale where the story came from a freelance writer rather than the writing team, which is, as we established, George Brozak.
Right.
He also did the first draft of the script, but I guess they used so little of that draft that he doesn't get any credit for that. He just gets the story credit.
Taking a break from being the Mr. Holland's opus of University of South Carolina or something.
I guess so. The logic behind Gowron as a changeling was that they're trying to set up for a resolution of some kind to the war with the Klingons by maybe letting the Federation save the Klingons.
Okay.
From the changelings. And it's like, we wanted to close the chapter on the Klingon War and get back to what this franchise had been, which was Cardassians and Bajorans.
Yeah, so they got into this whole Klingon storyline and they got tired of it, basically.
Yeah, I think that's essentially it, yeah.
They're like, where were we going with this Klingon stuff?
Well, as I recall, they had to do it because somebody was like, you need to like mix stuff up for ratings or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And so they're like, okay, we'll do this Klingon thing. And now the ratings are good enough that they're like, okay, we can get it.
We got Worf. We can go back to what we were doing.
Yep. Odo's final pose on the rocky island is reminiscent of Michelangelo's painting of Adam on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. Of this scene, actor Rene Auberjonois says, I was trying to convey Odo's amazement. All these emotions that are going through him, what it must be like to suddenly have a body and feel things inside him and outside him. And all the senses, like smelling and tasting, which he's never had before. I was a newborn adult. It was wonderfully challenging, trying to communicate all of these feelings. I don't know that I got all of those feelings, but whatever.
He's
trying.
I think that's I took that for granted from the situation at the very least.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
But was he posing like Adam on purpose?
That's an excellent question.
Or did someone on Memory Alpha just be like, ooh, that looks kind of like, on the Sistine Chapel?
Could be both.
Yeah.
I've been to the Sistine Chapel.
I mean, he looks kind of like Jesus coming down from the cross or something.
This episode, when Odo is officially disgraced and rejected by his people, makes him the 4th regular character alienated from his race as a punishment.
Nice.
So
we got Worf.
Yep.
We got Quark.
Yep.
We got... Let me think here. Who else is an alien on the show?
In this episode.
What am I missing? I mean, we got Odo.
Well, yeah, obviously.
And Garrick.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Garrick.
Well, Garrick's always been in exile. Like, that didn't happen to him this season, though.
That's true. No, it was just like, of people currently on the show, Odo is the 4th officially disgraced and rejected by his people character.
Yeah, because I had noticed that too, that we were having a lot of people exiled this season.
In the last 2 episodes, it's happened twice.
And then Garrick also has the idea for a suicide mission, continuing that bizarre theme. So
I hadn't thought of it that way, but I guess that was his plan, yep.
That wasn't his goal, so I don't know if that really counts. It was just more of like a...
It's an unfortunate side effect.
Yeah.
Let's see, one more note that I have here. Ira Stephen Bear commented, I think the episode is a strong ending to a strong season. On a certain level, it's a character piece. We were a little worried about that, whether we should go bigger. The Way of the Warrior became such a burden to an extent because we did have such a big budget for that, and the audience expected us to go out with a bang. Well, we did, but it was a different bang. And as I said, we wanted to do something that brought the season full circle. I think we did that, and I'm glad we did.
I mean, does he mean like it comes full circle when with the Gowron stuff, or?
I don't know. It does not specify.
All right. What I want to know is, why did Gowron's speech have to be 1 hour and 41 minutes long? And were they just standing there watching the whole time?
Well, at the end, I honestly wasn't paying all that much attention to the first speech he made, but then they start talking over the speech at the end, And I was like, what is he saying? Because I feel like he starts saying some weird stuff in there. And I went online briefly to see if I could find like a transcript of his speech, but maybe I can find like the script of the episode. What's this episode? This is Broken Link.
Yeah, at the very end, it sounds like he's just repeating just more. It's like, yeah, stay away from Arcanus. Arcanus is ours. We're taking it. Don't come to Arcanus. It belongs to the Klingons.
Yeah, like the very last bit, he's like, no misinterpretation of my words. Arcanus is ours, and we will take it back. Resist us in any way, and there will be war. And I was like, did you think your words were open for misinterpretation before this?
Yeah. It's like, when he said, we're sending people to Arcanus, everybody go away or we're going to kill you, what did he mean by that?
Yeah, like he says before that, any Starfleet vessels found in the sector after that time will be considered the enemy and fired upon.
So was he speaking in metaphors, or?
Kira's like, it's coming in on all frequencies.
Yeah.
I mean, wow, okay. I guess he just wants to make sure everybody hears it.
It's like all frequencies? I guess I assume there's like standard communication frequencies or something.
Yeah, probably.
It's not like literally every single frequency of the electromagnetic spectrum.
Yep. He's up there in the infrared, and he's down there in the what's the other end?
The ultraviolet.
Yeah, the ultraviolet. He's all over the place.
I think there's stuff beyond those.
Well, yeah, but those were the fun ones to imagine for me.
Yep.
That it's like. He took over the ultraviolet colors.
Right. It's like my white t-shirt keeps like flashing purple for some reason.
It keeps becoming Gowron. I don't understand.
Yeah, it's like you look out the window and there's just like a big like visible image of Gowron out in outer space.
Yep. You're doing some X-rays and Gowron is taking over the X-rays.
It's like, yeah, it's like there's a broken bone, just like with a Gowron face over it.
Good times, good times.
Every frequency. So was that all your stuff? Yeah,
that's all the notes.
Okay, so let's, how do we feel about the title, Broken Link?
I mean, it feels kind of silly to me that we're doing like an HTML pun.
You think they did that deliberately?
I don't know. I'm okay with the title. I think,
sure.
Yeah, I think it fits. It's relevant to what's happening here. It's fairly clever, I guess, and I think it's memorable enough. Like, I feel like you say Broken Link, I remember that's the one where like Odo gets kicked out of the Great Link or whatever.
Sure.
So
yeah,
I don't have a problem with this. I don't think it's like a top drawer title or anything, but it's okay.
Yeah, I think it's all the points. I think I might have trouble remembering that the episode is titled Broken Link, but when you say Broken Link,
yeah,
I know what episode you're talking about. So.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like I don't know that I could pull it off the other way around, but I recognize the episode from the title.
So then, how do you feel about the episode Broken Link?
I don't know. I don't feel like it's like the greatest season finale ever.
Mm-hmm.
This is another one that's pretty tight story on one character, but it does play into our bigger storyline, which I appreciate that. It's got some good Garrick stuff. It's not Garrick's best stuff, some of it, but the stuff with Odo when he's talking about working on Romulus, that was a lot of fun. Yeah. I love that. That's honestly from the show of Garrick stuff. That's some stuff that sticks in my mind where he's like messing with Odo about being a gardener on Romulus, and like right. I always remember Garrick and his Romulan gardening. So,
and it's also kind of the writers just kind of playing with the kind of ridiculous like way that Garrick is, just always with all his insinuations and stuff.
Yep, exactly.
So they're kind of poking fun at themselves a little bit, I feel like.
Yeah. No, that's a fair point. I hadn't thought of it like that, but it is kind of like hanging a lantern on it to right. Yeah. So, yeah, that stuff I like. Some of the other stuff is just weird. Like the whole scene of like naked talk on the bridge. I was like, were we really just hard up to fill some time on this episode, and so we decided to throw this weird conversation in here.
Yeah.
And the concept of Odo being banished and turned into a solid, that's interesting, and it leads to some good stories or some good story potential coming up. I feel like it didn't need to take us this long to get there. Like, you take the whole episode to get to this thing where it's like, oh man, are they going to kill Odo? What are they going to do? And I guess maybe there's something to be said for, like, if you didn't know it was coming, like I obviously did, then this might have been a big shock where it's like, you thought that they were going to penalize him in some way, but you had no idea they could turn him into a solid. How the fuck did they even do that?
Right.
So maybe when it was a big surprise, it's a more satisfying, like, punch at the end of the episode, but it's less so for me at this point. So I'm a little bit blah on the episode. It has some good points. It has some bad points that I'm just like, and I do like the callback to, like, the previous episode where we talked about the sneezing. They made that a little fun. And so there's fun moments in here, but overall I'm just like, eh. So I don't hate it or anything. I don't even dislike it strongly. I'm just like meh on it. So I'm going to put it once again at like a lieutenant commander for that reason.
Okay. I think what they were trying to go for with some of those, like, weird scenes, like where O'Brien is complaining about Kira and Keiko, like, stopping talking when he walks in or whatever.
Yeah.
I just think the writers thought it would be kind of weird if they just flew into the Gamma Quadrant and immediately there was the Dominion. So they're like, oh, let's have, like, some down moments. Maybe throw in a couple of jokes or something. I don't know. But I mean, I'm fine with this episode. I mean, it's definitely a main, like, storyline episode. It's got Dominion. It's got Odo.
Yeah.
It's got Klingon War stuff kind of going on. So
it's true. Yeah. And I do like that in the background, like, that it's in the background for at the beginning of the episode, and then it comes back at the end, and then you get how it's related to the rest.
Yeah.
So that was nice.
So, and I like seeing Garrick. So I think I agree it's kind of underwhelming as a season finale, but if it wasn't a season finale, I think I'd give it a commander pretty easily. So
okay,
I think that's where I'm going to leave it. Put it at the commander.
All right.
But anyway, what do we have to look forward to next time on Deep Space Nine? Next time we will be doing our season wrap up.
Yeah, I was about to say that's
I don't know if we want to do that. We've never done that bit at the end of a season before, so
what are we going to look forward to next season?
Yeah, I think just tell us what we're going to see on the next episode.
So the next episode it's Face Off a little bit.
Excellent.
But it's also got some I keep wanting to say Apocalypse Now. That's not what I had in my brain. It's just because of the name of the episode that keeps popping into my head. But no, it's like Face Off, and it's like a little bit of a movie. I've lost it. The movie with trying to assassinate the president.
The movie with trying to assassinate the president.
Yeah. It flew out of my brain.
Day of the Jackal, where they tried to assassinate the president of France.
You know what? That's not what I was thinking, but I'll go with it.
Okay, Face Off of the Jackal. I'm
gonna cut like an hour from now and remember what the heck I was trying to think of. But yeah, Face of the Jackal.
Face of the Jackal. Now I want to go watch Face Off.
I never want to go watch Face Off. So
well, I haven't seen that movie in such a long time. I have a feeling it might not be as entertaining as I recall. But
I mean, if I want to randomly watch a Nick Cage movie, I'm probably thinking more maybe The Rock. That's a good one. Or even Lord of War. Lord of War is a good Nick Cage.
Oh yeah, we gotta spoil some movies. What happens at the end of Rock? They stop the bad guys.
Yeah, they stop the bad guys, and Nicolas Cage falls on the ground with a flare in each hand in a very dramatic pose of "Please don't blow me up."
Oh yeah, kind of like at the end of Platoon.
And let's just spoil Nick Cage movies. So then you've got what's that newest one that we went and saw?
We saw the one where he was Dracula.
Oh, that was newer. No, I wasn't thinking about that one. I was thinking about the good one.
Oh, the one where he plays Nick Cage?
Yeah. The unbearable weight of
incredible talent or something. Yeah.
The unbearable weight of massive talent. That's what it is. That movie ends with
I think they stop the bad guys, and then Nicolas Cage
turns
and his
into a movie.
Get away or something.
That movie ends exactly the same way as Get Shorty, actually.
Oh.
Where at the very end of the climactic final battle, it cuts to the same fight, but with different actors in the roles, because they're filming a movie of the story that we just saw in the movie.
Right. Yeah, I remember that.
Yep. And Get Shorty's a John Travolta movie, who's also in Face Off. And
oh my gosh.
And that's a John Travolta movie I'd rather watch than Face Off, so it works out. Go watch Get Shorty and The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent instead of Face Off. That's the lesson that I'm trying to teach you here.
There was a clip from the movie Phenomenon with John Travolta and Brent Spiner.
Ooh.
That got in my recommendations on YouTube.
The 1996 film Phenomenon?
Sure. The one with John Travolta in it.
Yeah, John Travolta and Forrest Whitaker.
Where he has superpowers. The spoiler to that movie is, it turns out a brain tumor gave him superpowers.
Oh.
And then I think the brain tumor kills him or something. I possibly haven't watched that movie since 1996.
Let's see. We're going to find out. I'm spoiling it right now. There's a brain surgeon to do an operation. He only has a 1 in 500 chance of survival. But George says no, saying he still has work to do. The doctor declares him mentally unfit and holds him against his will. He escapes from the hospital. The FBI agents show up, but Lace persuades him to let George die in peace. Professor Ringgold arrives, only to learn that he is too late.
Aww.
A year later, George's friends are gathered at what would have been his 38th birthday. Nate, now fluent in Portuguese, is married to pregnant Ella. Other signs of George's phenomenal impact on the town and its people are seen all around.
I think I will not go back and rewatch that movie.
Well, no, because I just spoiled the ending, so
right.
There's no need to.
Right.
It doesn't mention Brent Spiner in this movie. Is he not like a major character? Oh, no, there he is, as Dr. Bob Neerdorf.
Oh, yeah, Bob.
Right. Okay.
Because he keeps, in the scene I was watching, he keeps, like, interrupting Bob's questions with, like, you gotta be specific. It's like, name all the mammals you can name in 60 seconds. And then he names all these mammals that include, like, unicorn and stuff. And he's like, now, like, unicorns are mythical, and, like, a varmint, that's kind of iffy. But you weren't very specific, were you, Bob?
I mean, if a unicorn were real, it would be a mammal. At least as we understand unicorns.
Narwhals are mammals. So.
It's true, yeah. I saw a fun picture today of somebody at a con getting a picture with Brent Spiner, and then like other actor. Oh man, my words are not going well today. Reading Rainbow.
LeVar Burton.
LeVar Burton, thank you. God. Like LeVar Burton like is strolling by in the background and like quickly photobombs one of the pictures and then keeps walking.
Nice. But yeah, anyway, okay, so podcast over.
Yeah.
If you made it this far, thanks for listening. Interesting stuff might be in the description, maybe not. I'll put that Phenomenon clip in there. Why not?
Yeah, get that in there.
If I don't edit that part out. I'm Fletcher, about to say goodbye as Data.
Bye.
Until we meet again, keep the blood wine warm and the prune juice chilled.